11 o'clock here. Those tail flukes are a pretty good indication that that whale has made a deeper dive. So we're gonna kind of hang out in this area and wait for that guy to resurface. That was a humpback whale that we were seeing there. When we're out here looking for our whales, we don't use any kind of sonar or GPS tracking. We are only using visual cues. So we're just looking for the spout or blow coming from these whales, and that's just caused by these guys breathing. It's the same process that happens when we breathe on a really cold day and we can see our breath. It just happens at a much larger volume with these whales. All the warm air inside the lungs is going to meet this colder ocean air. It's then going to condense and vaporize, giving us that mist or cloud that we see above the whale's head. Now, depending on the species of whale and the sea conditions, we can typically see these blows for a few miles away, and sometimes we can even tell the species based only off of these blows. These whales don't always swim in a straight line, and they don't always stay at consistent speed. So be keeping your eyes out all around the boat. Sometimes they like to pop up on the other side and surprise us. Humpback whale is capable of holding its breath for upwards of about 45 minutes. But luckily, we don't typically see this long of a breath hold here in Monterey. We are a feeding ground for these guys, so they're typically going to be spending quite a bit of energy while underneath the water. So typical dive times here is going to be between about 3 and 15 minutes. This large bird that's going to be coming up our left-hand side, kind of crossing over our stern now, we changed directions. That's a black-footed albatross, a bird we don't get to see too much out here. They have incredible wings. These guys have been known to ride those air currents for up to 6 days at a time without even flapping their wings. So they can just lock those wings out in that extended position, and soaring like this is going to spend less energy than if they were just sitting on the surface of the water. I think we have 2 of them. One's coming up our... There's one on both sides of us. Whale popped up on our right-hand side. Whale up there at our And a tail fluke. So Monterey Bay is a feeding destination for these humpback whales. There's about 20,000 humpbacks within our population, and they can feed anywhere between the southern state of Washington all the way down to Southern California. But we expect anywhere between about 200 to 600 of these humpbacks to come into our bay and hang out with us all summer long. Now for the winter months, all of these humpbacks along our west coast are going to be making their way down to Baja, Mexico. They'll be breeding and having their calves in those calm, warm lagoons down there. There is another famous population of humpbacks in the Northwest Pacific that you might have heard about, and those are the humpbacks that feed off the coast of Alaska. And those Alaskan humpbacks are going to make their way to the Hawaiian Islands to breed and have their calves. But these two populations of whales are considered separate. They rarely intermix, and genetic testing has showed that they rarely interbreed as well. Whales popping up ahead of us, and a very quick up and down. There's that guy's tail fluke. Consider the humpback whale to be a medium-sized whale out here. They're on average between about 40 and